All right, tubers, Matt M. Roy back once again. Day two, hang on a sec. Day two of the week-long live stream experiment. Dastardly Deviant was the first one. He was here at 6:57 p.m. and I sent him a cheers. So hey to the Dastardly Deviant. Scott Kearley's here. Welcome to the live stream, everyone. Thank you very much. Julian Butler says hi. I wanted to tell you guys a little something funny that happened this morning. I got up and I knew the cats had been running around my room. And when I went to open my door, I opened it up real fast and I heard bang. Well, I knew something was wrong. Sure enough, this is my doorstop. Well, Milo every once in a while likes to take the little rubber nub. There's a rubber nub that goes on the end of this that basically cushions the door, so when the door opens, the actual door handle doesn't hit into the drywall and cause a hole. So that being said, I'm gonna have to probably go to, I don't know, Home Depot or Lowe's tomorrow and try to get another one of these, because once you know it, we don't have another one lying around. I think we used the last one in the den when Milo was in there last time, and I'm sure I can find the little rubber nubs somewhere. But I haven't found it as of yet, so that might be on the list for tomorrow. We got 5 people here, 1 like. Awesome. I want to give this a try. I want to do this at least for a week, and I want to see how many people we can get, how many different ways the conversation can go within reason, and see if you guys like it. So let's see what else we got going on. I386. My dog used to play with the doorstop. I heard something going big, boing, boing, boing. Yeah, I remember those too. Some of them actually have this part here is spring loaded, so when they pull it, like a cat or dog would be like boing, 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 boing. This one luckily is totally metal. You guys can probably hear that, so I don't have to listen to that all night long. Hey, Matt, how are you? Stephen Barber asks. I'm doing really well. I'll give you guys a little summary of my day today. I got up, had my breakfast, and Mom and I went out and walked this local city, well, fairly local city park. That was about a 3-mile walk. We were going to actually feed the geese and the birds, but unfortunately that area where they have the little pond, the bridge that goes over the pond, and then the benches there, was all closed off because they were redoing the bridge deck. So we didn't get a chance to do that, but we did get a 3-mile walk in. After that, Mom and I actually went to a few of the thrift stores. I wound up getting 2 computers today. They're both Dells. One is a Dell XPS 420, a Vista era system, one of those real fancy looking ones that has the digital LED display on top. And the other is a Dell Inspiron 570, which is a AMD system. I'm working on those right now. I'm actually working on the 570 first. The Dell XPS, what I say was 420, needs a hard drive, so I need to go ahead and put that in later. But hopefully I'll get a chance to show that to you guys. They are really, really cool. Love your shirt, Matt, I386. Yes, this is my patriotic shirt because I love America, love everything about it, and I want to go ahead and show that off. I have quite a few of them like this. I have one that has the American flag, one that has support the armed forces. Some of the other ones have like the Statue of Liberty, but they're all what they call patriotic shirts. And these are ones that I got at Boscov's, which is a department store up in Binghamton, New York. And they were on clearance. I think I paid about $3 a piece for them. Now, these are actually a little big for me. Let me get back here and see if you guys can see. I mean, it's like, whoo, got a chance to see my little stomach there. But these are 2Xs. I really need an XL or an XLT, but you know what? That's okay. I don't mind wearing my shirt a little big at times. Julian Butler says, I have a shirt with a bald eagle and mine says USA at the bottom. Okay. You know what? I want to say I have one like that too. I'd have to go through my closet to be sure, but heck, you know what? Nothing wrong with these shirts. They get the job done. And of course, when you're working out a lot or all day like I do, you don't want to be wearing really fancy collared shirts, like my Duluth trading shirts, the XLT ones I got when we were in South Dakota. I saved those for church and special occasions because I don't want to get those dirty or destroyed because they were really expensive. Tyler asks, do I use my DSLR anymore? Very rarely. I find it's very hard to film with that camera, at least the vlogs. It's much easier for me to use my cell phone. I do use it to take pictures, basically. As a matter of fact, some of the slideshows I put up on YouTube recently and some of the slideshows I put on Facebook, when we went to Letchworth State Park and a few of the other ones, that was taken with the DSLR, but really don't get a lot of use out of it. I'm not sorry that I bought it. I'm sure I will in the future, but we'll just have to see what happens. I386, do you like college football? No, I don't. I'm sorry to say I am not a big sports fan. I don't follow football, basketball, boxing, wrestling. I do follow bowling on occasion because I was a pretty good bowler back when I was in school. But that's about it. I do like watching the Olympics. I watch the different swimming competitions, the diving. Pretty much the Olympics is what I'm really into. Tyler goes, that's cool. He just uses his for the what does it say? For the first Monday of the month, fire siren test. Yeah, I remember. I've seen a few of those. Those are interesting videos. I'll have to turn my speakers down quite a bit because I think the first time I listened to that, my speaker was turned up because I was watching an old video, and I almost pierced my ears there. Okay. I-36 says he's not a big sports fan either, but you do go to the Georgia Bulldogs and got some of the games, but this year the tickets went up. Yeah, sporting events, to pay those inflated salaries, they really need to bump those ticket prices up. I think I heard somewhere that is it the Super Bowl now, even for the most basic seats are like $1,000, and if you want like premium seats or boxes, you're looking at 4 or 5 grand per ticket. Sorry, I'll stay home and watch it on TV. Evan asks, "Hey Matt, what do you think of the Kavanaugh situation? I don't think honest men will try to be in the Supreme. I don't think honest men will try to be in the Supreme Court. You do everything right, and then you get accused of very ugly things." I really don't want to go down this road, but I'll make a statement on what I think. Um, I really think that he is innocent, to be honest with you. There is not been any credible evidence that he did anything that they've accused him of. That being said, I am glad that they're doing a an FBI investigation for I think another week or so, just to make sure everything is on the up and up. But if that investigation clears him of all these charges, then yes, I think he should be confirmed. Stephen Barber asks, when you record elevators, can you record fire alarms? Also, I love them. I am a fire alarm nerd, LOL. I'll try to do one or two. Honestly, I don't know enough about them. So, I mean, I could just film it and you guys would have to tell me about them. But my thing has always been elevators. Tyler goes, I don't have TV, too expensive. Even my internet is CRAP. I'm supposed to get a 200 megabytes downloads, and he only gets 90 megabytes down at night. And I blame my computer locked online. They blame everyone. Yeah, yeah. I remember that discussion you and I were talking about. When you live in a more rural area, it's always hard to get a reliable internet connection. Even my uncle, who lives in Green. You guys probably have seen it by now. You know, I go up there quite often. It's pretty rural, but it is in a village, and even he has issues with internet speed. Best thing I tell you to do is move to a more populated area. Like where I am, it's suburban, but we're like right near the highway. We're near hospitals and medical facilities, so our internet here is great. We have FiOS, which is awesome, fiber optic internet. You really can't get any better than that. I don't even have the highest package. We have the 100 up, 100 down, which is more than enough for us because in our household, it's literally just me and maybe mom's on her Kindle, just looking at Facebook. And between the two of us, we don't even use 50 megabytes, let alone 100. Is it cable or in green? Yes, it's cable internet in green. They don't have fiber optic or DSL. No, I take it back. It's cable or DSL. My uncle has cable, and I think his neighbor has DSL. And believe it or not, the old school DSL is sometimes more reliable than the cable is. Is fiber optic here? Julian Butler asks. I know in my area, yeah, you can get optic cable right up to your modem. It costs a lot of money. When I say a lot of money, I think the only person I knew that did it was a businessman who was running a business out of his house. And I want to say he paid like $5,000 to get enough fiber optic cable installed to go from the box outside where the fiber optic cable is laid, literally to his modem. So give you an idea how expensive that actually is. Ruben asks, how are your two cats? Are they going crazy? Not right now, mainly because I fed them. I've actually shut them out because they're just going to bother us too much in here, and I can't get anything done. Something on the floor here. It's driving me crazy. I just found this. I guess I dropped it last night. This is a little piece of one of those excitements. I'll have to suck on one of those later. My throat is actually getting very dry. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I lost track. And I also did a workout today at the gym. I went to Planet Fitness and I did an hour-long workout on the treadmill. Didn't get a chance to actually do the weights because it was getting too late and I wouldn't have been able to make it home in time to start the live stream. But I will give you guys an idea of what I got steps-wise so far. 27,187. There you go. 27,187. Yeah, I know it's inverted, but you guys get the idea. That was at 3 miles per hour average speed, so that's 11.58 miles, and that's roughly about 12 to 1,300 calories burned. Don't let that fool you. That says I only burned like 837 calories. Doesn't take into account my size. So really, I've probably burned more like 2,000 plus calories off. And that's the key. When you're trying to diet, there's simple math involved here. You want to burn more or use more, going out than you're putting into your body. So basically, you want to have less calories put in and more calories burned. I mean, it's simple math. You can figure it out yourself. That's why people say Weight Watchers works, and it does. Because if you want to use something like Weight Watchers to help boost your lifestyle change, because that's what we're calling it, lifestyle change, you can use their point system, and that'll actually help you out and to figure out what calories are in each item that you're eating. Even simpler than that, what I do is I know everything that I eat, and I know how many calories are in it. So let's say throughout the whole day, I know I ate 3,000 calories. I know what I have to burn off in that day to make sure I don't gain weight. So there are a lot of websites out there that help you. Probably the best thing I could tell you to do if you really want to get on a program, because you're one of those people that has to see it, is probably do something like Weight Watchers. And the only reason I'm saying that, they're not paying me to say that, is I know people have had great success using Weight Watchers and then following my lifestyle change tips, and it has worked out phenomenally. I know people out there, at least 2 or 3, I can't name them, they wouldn't like me to do that, but have lost at least 30 to 40 pounds so far. So it works. You just got to stick to it. I386. Right now, I'm only getting 12 megabits per second. AT&T is having issues only getting one signal to my modem. You may want to have them do a hardware scan. Sometimes when your modems start to go bad, they'll actually do that. Generally, you're supposed to be able to piggyback, I think with AT&T, off of 2 or 3 different stations that are going in your area. And if your modem or your wireless gateway is malfunctioning, sometimes it can do that, only let you connect to one at a time. So have them do a hardware scan on that. Michael Aforte says, Bitcoin thoughts. I really honestly don't know a lot about Bitcoin. I've read up on it. I mean, it's a cryptocurrency. You know, it basically is used, to the best of my understanding, to facilitate transactions from one person to another, and you get like a percentage of that. But it takes a lot of processing power. You know, there are people out there that are have Bitcoin mining rigs that spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on the equipment to do this, and don't necessarily reap a lot of that back, at least not in the short term. I honestly would stay away from cryptocurrency. It's very volatile, and if that, let's just say for argument's sake, you went out and you bought your $10,000 Bitcoin mining rig, you set it up, and then the bottom fell out of the cryptocurrency market, you'd have to sell off your equipment, and you'd probably take a bath, at least a $2,000 or $3,000 bath. So me personally, I'd stay away from it. Julian Butler, my grandma is going to give me her old phone, a Samsung Galaxy S4. Not the greatest phone, I know, but a lot better than my Windows phone. Hopefully going to get it Wednesday. The Samsung Galaxy S4 was a solid phone. It's a little bit on the older side now, but, you know, I'd definitely say it's better than the Windows phones. I had an opportunity to use a Windows phone when a friend of mine had it a few years ago, and I was not impressed. It was glitchy as could be. Tyler says, seems like ever since the FCC got involved in spring, the internet like being throttled, I think. Yeah, I think what you're referring to is like the net neutrality. They can do that now. Basically, they can pick and choose who gets the best speeds, the internet service providers being the WHO. And generally what they're going to do is they're going to give the best speeds to people paying the most money, i.e. the businesses that pay for those speeds. Before, they could not discriminate against the quality of the connection and the speeds depending on how much you pay for it. It's really a sin, and I have not been affected by it. Fios has, but I know a lot of people on cable networks have. Yeah, they can claim they don't as much as they want, but I don't buy it. I don't buy it because it's legal for them to do it now. If it's legal for them to do it, then they're probably going to do it. They're going to say they don't, but they're still going to do it. Michael Aforte asks, have you ever met any of your fans in public? Yes, I have. I met a fan the other day in Kroger. Now, don't make me mention their names. I am absolutely atrocious when it comes to names, but I have met a few people in public. One in my area and one actually up in Endicott when we were in New York. I'd really like to do a fan meetup. I think that would be something that you guys would really like, but I know the problem is a lot of you don't live anywhere near I do. As a matter of fact, a lot of the fans that I've met are actually more up towards the Binghamton area in New York. So I think when I do a fan meetup, it's probably going to be up that way. But we'll see. Well, you know what? I have a lot of plans for the future. We're just going to have to see what time allows. Let me grab a little something here. My throat's getting very scratchy again. Let's see. We got 17 watchers and 19 likes. Not as many as yesterday, but not too bad. And yes, I am drinking good old spring water from Aldi. I've pretty much given up all sports drinks. I will occasionally have a sparkling water or flavored seltzer, depending on what area you're from is what you call it. But I don't drink soda anymore. I don't drink sports drinks. I don't drink Juices. The only thing I treat myself to maybe once a week is a milkshake from Sonic, and that is it. And just doing that alone will jumpstart your lifestyle change. Evan Kyoki, I'm going to just say Evan. What do you think about 5G? Is that when you upgrade from your Note Samsung 9? I actually run the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus. As to your question about 5G, I don't like the way they bundle this. What it basically is, it gets down to what your speeds or what they expect your speeds to be. 5G. Let me look this up real quick because I'm by no means an expert in this. Okay. Let me read this. This is actually from Google. Browsing speeds went up from 71 megabits per second in the median 4G to 1.4 gigabits per second for the median 5G. So basically, there is a significant increase in speed there. But here's the problem. They can put out a phone that says it's 5G capable. 5G capable, the key word there being capable, does not mean you're actually going to get that 1.4 gigabit per second speed. They can put out that phone, but they have to make sure that they upgrade the infrastructure to handle that. And I can almost guarantee you when 5G is finally released, here anyway, which let me see, I think it's sometime next year. It's supposed to be released to all parts of the US. It's going to take a couple of years for that to really take hold. Don't necessarily go by that. 4G is more than sufficient for almost any tasks you want to do over the phone. Oh, yes. Okay. Elizabeth Laforte, when you talk about a fan meetup, I think of the episode, a Frasier episode of his fan club. Granted, I know yours would be much better off. Ha ha ha. Just the first mental go to. Yeah, I remember that episode. I'm a big fan of Frasier. I watched Cheers. I don't you don't think I'm old enough to remember Cheers, but I am. And of course the subsequent sequel, which was Frasier. Yeah, that was not a very successful meetup. I think you had like three people, and they were all loony in the head, if you know what I mean. Let me fix my chair here. I know I'm kind of moving around like this, and mainly because I can't get too comfortable. Flips May says, I am stuck with Cox Internet and TV. I feel your pain, buddy. I used to have Cox here. That was the only thing available in our area until about, I think it was 2007 or 8 when we finally got Verizon, and I couldn't switch fast enough. Cox was terrible in our area. And I'm not saying it's a bad company, it really isn't. But the problem was in our area, everybody used Cox because that was the only thing that was available. And if you know anything about cable internet, with cable, you share your bandwidth with the entire node. In other words, everybody in the neighborhood. So when everybody got home at night and got on their computer, your speeds would slow down to a crawl. Basically, the only time I at that point, the only time that I could stream video was like 2 or 3 in the morning. So yeah, farewell to Cox. I'm not interested in ever going back. And believe me, they try. I can't see a week or two go by where we don't get a little thing in the mail saying, switch back to Cox, save $50 a month. Yeah, not going to happen. Definitely not going to happen. 16 watchers and 10 likes, 15 watchers. Oh, I was hoping to get a little bit more, but we'll see. You know, during Mondays are never good. Everybody's gone back to work. By the time they get home, they're probably ready to hit the snooze button and go to bed. Hold on, I'm losing my place here. $200 modem router, Tyler says. Yeah, some of them are that expensive. Flips me, what is your recommendation for a new Wi-Fi router? I am stuck with a terrible Asus router. I always liked Linksys. I use a Linksys AC 1900 router. Has wireless LAN capability and also as the model number states ANC capabilities. I've had that router now for about 2 years. Got it new from a garage sale for $1. You heard me right, $1. And that thing works beautifully. So yeah, Linksys. I always do well with Linksys. Uh-oh, looks like we're getting a little bit of a controversy here. Someone said that they didn't like Netgear. I don't have an issue per se with Netgear. I've just had better luck with Linksys products. That's right, Ruben. $1 for a router. That was the buy of the century. We used to have a TV show on called The Sale of the Century. In this case, that was the buy of the century. I think I still have the box in my closet there. Hang on. I'll be right back. This is it right here. Linksys AC 1900 dual band smart router with Wi-Fi. It is model EA 6900. Let me see if you guys can actually even buy. You probably can't even buy that new anymore, but let me see. There we go. Here it is, recertified from Newegg. I'll share the link with you if you want to take a look at that. Okay, not going to let me share that link. Let me see if there's something else we can do here. Okay. There we go. This is one on eBay, the same router that I have. It's a refurbished router, and it is certified refurbished. And it looks like they're asking about $70 for. So that would be the one that I would recommend. And I've had very good luck with those in the past. Yeah, no problem, Flips. Hopefully that works out well for you. There's also one on Newegg that's brand new, but they want like $125 for that. And I couldn't share the link because it was too long. They wouldn't let me share that link. 19 watchers and 11 likes. Awesome. Oh, we're picking up here a little bit. Julian says Butler says it has great reviews. Yeah, I really can't say anything bad about this. I'll read you guys off some of the features. This one is dual band, so 2.4 gigahertz and the 5 gigahertz band. So if your neighborhood is saturated like mine with people using the 2.4 gigahertz band, and your devices support 5 gigahertz, this router does too. Beamforming technology, which I think is basically just helps you get better range from your router. You don't have like dead spots in your house. USB 2.0 and 3.0 ports. I don't use that feature, but it's there. It does also have 4 gigabit Ethernet ports on there too. So this works as a wired and a wireless router too. Comes with parental controls, guest access, and that's what I love because you don't actually have to give people that come to your house your router password. What you do is you tell them to go to this specific website. Actually, you tell them to connect to the guest account, and it routes them to this website, and they just have to put your password in for guest access. All right. Well, I'll let that go. I see we got some spirited conversations going on here. Tyler goes, Cisco is okay too, but have not really had it much. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I believe Cisco makes these for Linksys, or at least some of their routers. I'm not sure, but I've seen Cisco branded routers that look identical to this. It could be the other way too. Maybe Cisco, maybe Linksys makes them for Cisco. I'm not sure. Pup Dog 101 asks, how's the Dodge Ram diesel, the 3500? That's actually doing really well. We took that out yesterday on our bike ride. Running just fine. Ever since when we first got that, he has done quite a bit of work to that, and a lot of it was done under warranty, thank goodness. The engine block heater replaced. It had the front suspension worked on. I can't remember exactly what they did on the front suspension, but also had a full tune-up done on it. The AC compressor replaced twice. So yeah, it's had a lot of things done to it, but now, fingers crossed, everything seems to be running just fine. Pup Dog 101, did you like the 2002 F250 more? Not necessarily. They're both good in their own ways. The F250 had slightly more horsepower, but the Cummins straight six has more torque. So they're both really good. I'm glad that we don't have that F250 anymore, because I don't know how much of you guys remember the story that I told about that, but the reason we got rid of it, it was rotting really badly. The rockers were almost totally gone on it. The step, I don't know what you call it, the little step on it was ready to fall off, that little rubber step. It was not good. And we were very lucky that we got as much of a trade-in on that as we did, because yeah, it needed a lot of work. And I'm sure that even now that might still be sitting at the body shop getting the rot repaired. I thought I answered that, but I'll answer again. Ruben asked, "How are my two cats?" They're doing just fine. They're in the. I'm sure they're in the other room. I've just shut them out for now. Julian Butler says, "I drive a 2010 Equinox." Yeah, I had a good friend of mine, Russ, used to drive an Equinox. I think his was like an '05. They're good vehicles. Probably the V6 in yours. I think it's like a 3.1 or a 3.2 liter or something like that. Same one they used it for a while in the in the Envoys as well, but they were really underpowered in those. Sorry, Eric, I'm just speaking the truth here. Robert Jones says he's getting ready to make a big step in his life. Well, I hope it's a good one, buddy. I hope it is. Flips Mays daily driver is a 2003 Toyota Matrix XR. Is that? I think that's the same thing as the Pontiac Vibe, isn't it? The Pontiac Vibe and the Toyota Matrix. Either way, they're good cars. I've never been in a Matrix, but I have been in a Vibe. A very good friend of mine has one. They're fun too. His is a 5-speed. I still want to get myself another little daily beater, but it's got to be a manual. It's got to be a 5-speed. I really miss driving a stick shift once in a while. Yeah, almost the same as the Vibe. It's the same platform, but just a slightly different body styling. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm losing my voice here. Pup Dog 101 says, check out our 1999 F250 7.3 Power Stroke diesel we've had owned since new. I need to check out that. I need to check out your channel. I have nothing against them. I think they were great vehicles. They're just getting a little on the old side now, and they're starting to have rot issues, especially the ones that spent any time in the north like ours did. Ours was a Massachusetts truck. Enough said, right? Ruben wants me to buy an Ford F650. Yeah, maybe if I win the lottery, that would be really nice. Jeff goes, it's so sad that manual transmissions are pretty much a thing of the past in the US. There's only a couple models you can still buy in the manual. That is true, especially now with cars getting better gas mileage than ever. The propensity or the plethora, I should say, of the Priuses and all these hybrid vehicles. Yeah, most people just honestly don't want to drive manual transmissions anymore. I know that's very different over in the UK. They still have quite a few manual transmissions, but I think that has more to do with fuel prices than it does, the actual transmission itself. Stephen Barber, I want to get a Toyota Tundra or 4Runner or Tacoma or pretty much any Toyota. I wish I had that kind of money. Yeah, I mean they're good vehicles. Heck, if you listen to Scotty Kilmer, he makes it sound like they're the only vehicles to drive. But you know what? You got to get what you can afford. And that's the thing. So many people out there nowadays are overextending themselves. They're buying these elaborate 50, $60,000 vehicles that they're going to be paying for the next 10 years. You don't want to do that. I mean, you don't want to have a car payment for 10 years. It just doesn't make sense. You don't. How do you know you're going to want to have that vehicle 10 years down the road? I mean, give you an idea. I do pay for my car. I have a car payment, but it's only going to be for another maybe 2 years or so. And I was okay. Even that was a little long for me. So that's just my 2 cents on the matter. Flips May says, when I go to Poland every year to visit my family, 70% of the people drive a diesel vehicle with a manual transmission. Best gas mileage. Diesels get better gas mileage generally than gas engines in cars, and of course manual transmissions. I bet you those vehicles get 40 plus miles a gallon. I'm not sure what you mean, Pup Dog 101. I've never heard of that. Ruben says it. I'll be going to Art Night on October 12th. It's a good event in Pasadena, California. Yeah, we have things like that around here, especially in Norfolk. There are a bunch of galleries. As a matter of fact, a gentleman that purchased a computer for me about a week ago owns a gallery in the Ghent area of Norfolk. I was thinking about going down there one night just to check it out. I don't know a lot about art. I mean, I know what I like, which is probably not what a lot of other people like. But that's what they say. Art is in the eye of the beholder. So if you like it, then it must be good, right? Don't hate on me for that, please. I am not an art critic by any means. Don't worry, Tyler. You're good. You're good. I don't mind having spirited conversations. If you guys want to talk amongst yourselves, as long as there's nothing really negative going on, then I'll allow that. A buddy of mine's calling. I'll call him back after the live stream ends. What do we got? 18 watchers and 13 likes. That's awesome. I am so glad that this is going well. And again, I realize the fact that this is Monday night, I'm probably not going to hit that 20 watcher mark. But hey, you know what? Let's have a positive outlook on it. Let's see. My goal is to get 20 watchers tonight. Let's see if we can do that. Ruben asks, when am I going to install the SSD in the ThinkStation? I thought I mentioned that last time. I do not have the ThinkStation anymore. That's gone. What I have over there now is a Dell. You can actually see it. It's right there. It's a Dell Precision T3400, almost identical to the ThinkStation. It has the same Xeon processor. It has twice the memory. It actually has 32 gigs of RAM instead of the 16 that the ThinkStation had. And I will be installing an SSD in that. Just got to wait till I get some money in my pocket. Yeah, Steven, I hope you're really enjoying that HP Omen 870. I'm so glad that's your first. I didn't know that was your first brand new computer. Took me a long time to get my first brand new computer. I'm trying to think. Yeah, my first brand new computer was a AMD Athlon 1 gigahertz system. I was built for me back when I was in high school. So we're talking 2001. It was like right before I graduated, and that computer did well for a few years. I had that for about 2 years until the CPU fan decided to fail, and I literally cooked the motherboard. I know, my bad, right? Ruben wants to know, how do I get rid of the ThinkStation? I wound up selling it. I told that story before, but yeah, basically, it was at a time when I needed some money, and somebody I knew really wanted it badly. So what do they say? Money talks, and everything's for sale. If somebody offered me enough money for my Dell XPS 8700, I'd probably sell that too. To be honest with you. Oh, cool, Ruben. So you know that computer. That the T3400 is an excellent system. I need to get a better video card for it. Right now, I have a GeForce GT 730 in there. It's a decent card, but if that ever becomes my main video editing rig, which it very well might if this XPS 8700 ever dies, I'll probably have to get a better video card for that. Or what I'll do is just take the card I have out of this one and put it in there. Oh, got a whole bunch of questions here. Flips May said, "Is it possible to use a PowerPC Mac as a daily computer? I was thinking about buying this iBook G4, not as a daily computer anymore. There's just not enough support for it, and modern browsers don't support it. You can get things like 10.4 Fox that will run on it, but you're not going to be able to do things like watch YouTube videos. You'd have a very hard time logging into secure websites. No, it wouldn't work." Oh, excuse me. I am so sorry. I had Chinese food tonight, so that's coming up a little bit. Oh. Pup Dog 101 says, "Thanks for the subscription." Yeah, I was gonna tell you I did that. Yeah, I'll try and watch some of your videos later. Here's the thing. I've had a lot of people ask me to subscribe to their channels, and I will on occasion. But if you don't put any content out, or don't put content out that I know I'm gonna watch, then I'm not gonna subscribe, because there's just no reason to. I'm sorry. I know I've probably put some people off saying that, but that's just the way I feel. I don't know. Ruben says his T3400 has an NVS 290. I want to say, yeah, I want to say that's actually the card that came in it originally, but I did a little bit of an upgrade to that GT 730, but I got to go even higher than that if I'm going to use that as my daily system. Pup Dog 101 wants to know, what are the plans for the IHOP that burned down? Okay. I've heard two different stories, and you guys can judge for yourself which one is going to be more true. Number one is I heard that they're having issues getting the insurance money. The investigation's gone through, but the insurance hasn't paid out, and that's why they haven't started building. The other story I've heard is that they're not going to rebuild on that location because there is another IHOP about 5 miles away in Suffolk. So I'm not sure which one's true, to be honest with you. I'd have to ask a friend of mine who's on the Chesapeake Board of Directors, and she probably knows more than I do at this point. Okay, Tyler says he decided to keep his little Toyota instead because prices went up and truck prices went up as well. I don't blame you. Now, did you wind up? You'll have to tell me later if you wound up actually buying it because I know you. I don't remember exactly how you said you did that, but yeah, that's a nice little. There's a nice little car, and you know what? It's just big enough to where it's comfortable for you, but you probably get killer gas mileage, probably a lot better than I do with my van. Corolla, that's right. I couldn't remember what she had. I thought it was I knew it was either a Camry or a Corolla. That's interesting. Tyler says the price is set at 13,000 when the lease is up, but it's worth 16.5. They said so. I would be ahead. Yeah, I mean, you could do the math right there. So what are you ahead? You're ahead like 3,500 bucks. Yeah, I'd say go for it. Robert Jones wants to know how to make changes to your YouTube account. Just go into the settings tab. There are a lot of tutorials on that. I would just Google, I would do a YouTube search how to make the specific change you want to make. And they'll be able to tell you right off the bat. Yes, he is. Tyler loves doing his cold starts. You'll see some cold starts from me once it actually gets cold here. It's been in the 80s still. We saw the 70s and the high 60s a couple of days last week. For the most part, it's been in the 70s here. Flips May, do you have any experience with the Mercedes-Benz 300D turbo diesel? Some people run them on vegetable oil. Yes, I do. My uncle actually had one of those. He may still have it. I'm not sure. He brought it here, and he was actually running it on vegetable oil. Now, there is a conversion that you have to do for that. You actually have to get a separate tank, and usually they store it in the trunk, and it has a heater because the oil you're running it on, if it's not heated up, it's going to become solid. So it's a heater that goes in there and heats up the oil. And from what I understand, you still run it on gas for like the first 5 minutes or diesel for the first 5 minutes. And there's a switch you click that they put on the dash that changes it from the internal tank to the tank in the trunk that's actually running it on vegetable oil. It's great. It is kind of gimmicky, to be honest with you. But it's great. Like if let's say you're taking a trip across the country and you want to really save on fuel costs, well, you could schedule stops at various fast food restaurants or really any kind of restaurants that are willing to give you that used oil for free, and they'll actually just give it to you. You just pull right up there. A lot of times they'll just let you dump it right into your tank. My uncle did that. He actually came from Colorado to here, running mostly on the vegetable oil. Uh-oh, Ruben said there are going to be thunderstorms in his area. I think we're good this week. I think we may have a few days of rain, but we've had no storms. It's been a very quiet summer, except for the minimal effects we got from the hurricane. I'm still reeling over that one. Adam Whitaker, what hard drive do you like, Western Digital versus Seagate? If you asked me this question a year ago, I would have said Seagate, but with recent experiences, Western Digital by far. Seagate's quality is went totally down the toilet. Evan asks, "What do you think is in Chinese General Tso's sauce?" Okay, I'd have to look that one up. General Tso's sauce consists of 3 tablespoons soy sauce, 3 tablespoons sugar, 2 tablespoons rice wine, which I have seen. I've never bought it myself. 1.5 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar, 1 tablespoon of chili paste, and 1.5 teaspoons of cornstarch. I love it. Whenever I go to the Chinese buffets, which aren't very frequent anymore, I do tend to pick up some of the General Tso's chicken, as long as it's tender. A lot of the problems I've had with the buffets, they'll actually use the cheaper dark meat, and a lot of it's like really stringy and it's really, really hard to chew. But I know the buffets around that actually use white meat, so I tend to favor those when I do go out and eat Chinese buffets, which at this point is maybe once every 4 or 5 months, and that's helped me tremendously to trim up. Nick Roberts wants me to do the ghost pepper challenge. No, I will not be doing the ghost pepper challenge. If you want to wreck your taste buds doing that, by all means do it. I absolutely will not. No way. My dad probably could, but no, I can handle minimal heat. Like I can handle the regular Texas Pete. When you start getting into like the Texas Pete Black Label stuff, I no way. There's just no way. That stuff will burn the taste buds right off your tongue. Stephen Barber says, I like Hitachi for hard drives and Western Digital for SSDs. Silicon Power SSDs I've heard are very good. I've never used one myself. I love my Western Digital Blue that I have in the laptop. That seems to be working great. Though I will say for SSDs, the best luck I've had are Crucial. I have the Crucial MX200s, one in this one, the XPS 700, and one in my HP Media Center PC over there, and they work fantastically. Love them. Punt Pup Dog 101 says they've hardly had any rain in Utah, I guess, this year, but this week you're finally getting some. Yeah, it's always feast or famine with rain lately. Goes in cycles, though. I bet you next year everything will be back to normal. Remember when California was in those big droughts? I mean, now I think they're still technically in a drought, but it's nowhere near as bad as they were. I know San Francisco a year or so ago they were in level 4 drought conditions. Now I think they're maybe in like level 1 or 2. So it's all cyclical. It changes. 18 watchers, 14 likes, and I just got a heck of a lot of questions and comments here. Let me try to get through these. Yes, it is the first day of October. It's October 1st, 2018. Getting so close to Halloween. I still haven't decided what I'm gonna do for Halloween yet. I may honestly, I may just go and we'll go out to eat because I don't want to have all that candy left. And a lot of people where we live in the back section of our development, so we don't hardly ever get a lot of trick or treaters anyway. It's really not even worth putting candy out, to be honest with you. I could leave it out there, but the first kid would probably just take the whole bowl and dump it into his bag. Pup Dog says you have a 2013 Sony Handycam, the HDR CX220. I know that camera. I had the 240. That is a great camera. That and the 240, I absolutely loved. I regret to this day getting rid of my 240. I do have it's a Canon Vixia, and I absolutely despise. As a matter of fact, I think I need to sell that camcorder. To be honest with you, maybe get one of the Sony's back. Let me see. Somebody's really trying to get me on Facebook here. It always winds up being that way. Right now, my internet is actually acting very, very, very slow. Oh my goodness. Sorry about that. I just had to answer a question on another platform real quick. Yes, I do still have the DSLR. Oh my goodness. I wish Eric was here because I know he'd have a smart comment about, hey, I tend to do this all the time, but mine are always the iced teas. So I have heard he started doing the unsweet tea from Wawa instead of the sweet tea, and I'm really proud of him because we talked a lot about sugar consumption during the day. If you're drinking a gallon of sweet tea, you'd be amazed at how much sugar is in that. I'll tell you guys a quick story. When I used to work at Sonic, I worked the fountain and ice cream section, and we had these big, I would say they were probably about 10-gallon vats of iced tea that we would brew. We would actually brew our iced tea fresh. We had one for the sweet tea, one for the unsweet tea. And do you know that when we made the sweet tea for the 10 gallons or so of sweet tea, you want to know how much sugar we had to put in that? 5 pounds. You know those big 5-pound bags of sugar that you get in the supermarket? I was forced to dump 5 pounds of sugar in there and stir it. So next time you get a iced tea from Sonic or any one of these fast food restaurants, think about that story. Think about how much sugar you're actually putting in your body. Yes, Tyler does love his DSLR. I want to try that trick because I remember a few times that he would go into the bathroom and would use the mirror to actually show himself with the DSLR. I really like that trick. I need to try that one time. Did I say that wrong? Hang on a second. Hang on. I may have to do a retraction here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, yeah, that was right. Absolutely. Oh, okay, your fancy lens, the USM 800 lens, died, so you're using the kit lens. I find the kit lens works fine. I have the two kit lenses that came with mine, and they get the job done. Though generally, I don't use the really long 150 millimeter zoom lens. I don't have a need for it. I should probably sell it, but you know what? I'm going to hold on to it just in case. Oh yes, 21. We just hit 21 watchers, so awesome. For a Monday, that is totally awesome. I am stoked right now. Stephen Barber wants to know if there are any upgrades coming in the near future for the Dell XPS 8700. Probably not. And there's a method to my madness on that. There are some things I'd like to do. Like I eventually thought I might bring it up to 32 gigabytes of RAM and get a bigger SSD. But the XPS 8700 is pushing 4 years old now. Actually, yeah, probably four are going to be 5 years old next year. And I think honestly, what I'm going to do is just upgrade to another computer. I'm probably going to still keep this, though. Don't hold me to that. You guys know how I work it here. If I get a good enough price for it, I'll sell it. But my plan now is next year to possibly upgrade to a newer Dell XPS, something like the 8900, or I think the 9000 is the newest one, and then relegate this one to a backup system. So to answer your question, probably not. Okay, Julian Butler wants to know the specs of my Dell XPS 8700. My Dell XPS 8700 is rocking a Core i7 4790, not the K, so it's not the overclockable one, running it natively at 3.6 gigahertz. I have 16 gigabytes of crucial ballistic memory in this. I have a 2 terabyte and a 4 terabyte internal hard drive. I believe they are both Seagates. I have the AMD or ATI Radeon R7 360 in here, which is a 2 gigabyte graphics card. And I have a Blu-ray drive, a Blu-ray burner, I should say. And those are the basic specs on there. Really is good enough for what I need. To be honest with you, the computer works great. Oh, and the boot drive is a Crucial M2 250 gigabyte motherboard mounted SSD. Evan says, any opinions on Google Chromebooks? They work well for some people. I have a very good friend of mine that uses them religiously, and he mainly uses it to stream YouTube and get on Facebook and stuff. And for that, they're fine. But for the power user, you're better sticking with a Windows-based PC or Mac, just whatever one you prefer. Well, I got a lot of people. I posted a Dell PowerEdge server that I had lying around. Doesn't have any hard drives in it, but I've had quite a few people interested in purchasing it, making me think I might have should have asked more than $100 for it. It's a Dell PowerEdge T110 server with a quad-core Xeon processor. Has 8 gigs of RAM, but no hard drive, so I didn't want to sound greedy. I bet you that's going to sell pretty quickly too. It's really cool. It actually has 4 hard drive bays, and they're SATA. They're not SAS drive bays. There are SATA drive bays. Yes, I noticed that. We're at an hour, and I got up to 22 watchers. So I think, you know what, we're going to have this one go a little bit longer tonight. Evan wants to know, do I play Fortnite? No, I am the vintage gamer, if you will. I would much rather sit down to my PlayStation 2 and play a good game of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 or 4, or another one I was playing was Disney's Skate World. I don't know if you guys ever remember that one. Or go over to one of my DOS systems over there and play some good old Commander Keen. My favorite's Commander Keen 4. Just one of my favorite games of all times. And of course, let's not forget Doom, Duke Nukem 2, Duke Nukem 3D, and good old Wolfenstein 3D. That was the first 3D game I ever played, was Wolfenstein 3D. No, I don't do remote repairs. I probably could, but I just don't trust them. A lot of my clients are older and wouldn't be able to understand what I was actually doing to their computers. So everything I do is pretty much in person. Mr. Jimmy's here, says Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 is my favorite game of all time. Played it to death. I'd have to agree. That was probably my favorite Tony Hawk game of all time. I have other games I like better. Consequently, probably my favorite PlayStation game back in the day was Tomb Raider 2. I don't know if you guys ever played that, but incredibly addictive game. I remember when I first got that game, I probably spent 5 hours a night playing that, a lot more than I should have. I went through my video game years. You guys got to remember, I'm in my 30s now, and I played a lot of video games in my teens and throughout my 20s. But when you start hitting your 30s, you have other priorities in your life, and video games kind of take a back seat to those, like weight loss right now. I may have to look into doing something like Fortnite. It's not without the realm of possibilities for me, but for now, probably not going to start. Mr. Jimmy, man, you're good at multitasking. Watching this live stream and playing Fortnite, I'm not that good. I never was good at multitasking anyway. I like focusing on one single task, getting it done to the best of my ability, and then moving on from there. Let me see if I missed anything here. Stephen Barber, I love old retro games for Mac, such as Jumpstart learning games. I played a few of those back in the day. I know I say that a lot. When I refer to that, I'm talking about middle school. And when I was in middle school, they had just gotten in the Mac LC3s. I don't know if you guys, some of you guys out there might be old enough to remember the Mac LC line of computers. They were running, I think, Mac OS 7 at that time, 7.1, 7.2. No CD-ROMs, just one 3.5-inch floppy drive, and we used to play games like that all the time. I remember there was one math game that involved baseball. Like you'd have to answer a math question, and then you'd get to pitch the ball or catch it. It's a really fun game. Pup Dog says his favorite YouTubers are Tyler, Zip Ties, Angry Grandpa, and me. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad at least you put me in there somewhere. Mr. Jimmy says when he was young, he used to play a lot of the Learning Company games like Reader Rabbit and Clue Finders. Oh, yes. When I was younger, we used to have the Apple II computers. Now I'm really showing my age. The 2Es, the 2 Pluses. On there, I used to play Reader Rabbit, Super Solvers, Midnight Rescue, Treasure Mountain. Outnumbered is a new one I'm actually playing. Believe it or not, I had that installed on the old Packard Bell Legend that I have. Actually, I have box software of that, and it came with a 3.5-inch floppy disk and a 5.25-inch. And I actually used that disk to test the 5.25-inch floppy drive in that Packard Bell Legend, because believe it or not, that's the only 5.25-inch floppy that I still have that's PC based. I still have a ton for my Commodore 64. Which, not to technically change the subject, but I am still trying to get working. I need to try to order a power supply, because I actually have 4 or 5 Commodore 64 computers. I have the drives. I have everything I need except for a working power supply. So if one of you out there has one and is maybe willing to donate it to me, I'll pay shipping. Looking for a Commodore 64 power supply. Those of you that know what they are should be able to figure out what I need. But if not, I'll probably just buy one myself. Scott Keeley, yeah, I'll do that. I'm not sure if he'll be able to know, I'm not sure if he knows that, but I'll ask him for you. Chris Bartlett, hey Chris, nice to see you here. Says the 8-bit guy has a lot of them. Yeah, I could probably send a message to him. I know that he's helped other YouTubers out at times. I might do that. Yeah, Angry Grandpa. I remember watching the videos of him. He was one crazy dude. Oh my goodness. I remember him going out to the fast food restaurants, and he would say, "I want a hamburger. I want fries." And they'll be like, "I'm sorry, sir. It's the breakfast menu now." What does that mean? I can't get my burger? Can't get fries? That's my best Angry Grandpa impression. Yeah, but he was a real cool guy. He was so much fun to watch. He was really abrasive, but you could tell that he had a really good heart. Chris Bartlett says that his son says he's like Angry Grandpa. I'd like to see you do some videos. I think that would be really cool. Jeff Foxworthy and Larry the Cable Guy, that was peak comedy. I never watched a lot of Larry the Cable Guy. I did watch see if you guys remember the Jeff Foxworthy show back in like the mid 90s. I think it ran from like 1995 to like 1997. They had two seasons, and the 2 seasons were totally different because they had different wives and they were set in different locations. But they were both funny, though. Honestly, I actually liked the first season better than the second season. If you guys don't know this, his son in the show was Haley Joel Osment from The Sixth Sense, AI. Great show. I really wish that it would have continued. And from what I understand, the only reason that they stopped it is Jeff didn't want to do it after the second season. It's taking too much time away from his family. And I can understand that. There's a point in your life when you say to yourself, what's most important? You got to prioritize in life sometimes. And I guess for him, it wasn't doing the show any longer. All right, tubers, I really got to end this because we're way over an hour tonight. I'm going to try to limit these to an hour as much as possible. We got up to 23 watchers. No super chats this time, though I am keeping track. I think we're up to like $2.15 in the super chats. Remember, if you guys get me up to $20 total in super chats over the next month, next season, I am going to ride a roller coaster. So you guys definitely want to see that because I might wet my pants. I might lose my lunch. I don't know what's going to happen. So if you guys really want to see that, help me out there with some of those super chats. Going to end this for tonight. Stay tuned. Remember, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as always, have a blessed day, everybody.